Howdy, Kevin Smith coming at you. Sacred Mountain River Suites, Smith & Son Coffee, Sacred Mountain Properties. Yeah, it's been one hell of a few days. Picture I'm going to put on the front of this one here is of a property that got burned. We have an escrow. It's kind of sucked. Lots of fires up here in Kernville, Lake Isabella area, Walker Basin, where my properties are. But anyways, I'm gonna do something fun today. I have something really weird to go through. I'm doing my little Bible thing here. And this is just really interesting shit I read. And so I just got to enlighten, because that's what we're doing. I'm also just finished these 6 stones here, fire opal. So I am going to maybe tie one of these while I'm doing this reading and such. Give me something to do. So I'm reading the Exodus. Yes, I go through the Exodus. I'm reading Exodus. And I get to the Exodus number 10. Okay. So, this coffee's good. Hold on a sec here. Oh, go juice. So Moses and Aaron, which was like Moses' right-hand dude, went into unto Pharaoh, and they did so. Okay. Moses the movie, right? Think about that, but like, is that the name of the Exodus, the movie? Yeah. So think of Moses in the movie, but the thing that I want to get to here is so trippy is the magicians of the Pharaoh. The magicians of the Pharaoh kind of misinterpreted it in the movie, and I really want to just enlighten everybody on how it's all tied together. And you shouldn't hate Egyptology. If you're a Christian, you should actually study it so that you understand more about your own religion, because it's all tied together. It's all the same darn thing when you go back far enough in time. So, and Moses and Aaron went unto the Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. The Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments, for they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. Okay, so besides all this rod swallowing, which kind of sounds, not right to me, tell you what's interesting and just a trip is here you have, which one will tie here? Let's do the L. This one you have a, okay, let me take it back just a little bit. So when God appears to Moses, he does the staff thing. He says, throw your staff down. It becomes a snake. He tells Moses, pick up the staff. It becomes back a staff. That's the magic. That's the proof of the magic or whatever. So I want to get to something interesting about this that's different. So that's probably misinterpreted about the staff and the snake and all this. So, but maybe not. I don't know. I wasn't there. But what we got here is... well, let me get to the next thing, because this is what's trippy, right? So, okay, Moses' staff is bigger. It's a bigger staff. See, I don't want to go there with everything. I'm a dirty old man. Fuck. Okay, so Moses' staff turns into a bigger snake and eats the other snakes up. The problem I have with this being literal is 2 things. First, the caduceus one. The second thing, though, is anatomical. So even if you got a king snake, and for some reason I thought there was 7 magicians of the Pharaoh. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe I read it, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But let's say you got 7 magicians. Let's say you got 5 magicians, okay? Let's just say 5, but I think it's 7. I think it's 7. How is even one king snake gonna eat up 7 baby rattlesnakes? His belly pop. I mean, it looked weird, like it just ate it fucking like, oh my God, that ain't right. So, I don't know. It just don't sound literal. What's interesting though, and what's not depicted correctly in that movie is what the magicians do of the Pharaoh after that. So after Moses, if we take it not to be literal, and we take it to be a teaching of magical practice, and how things work, how the angels work and all this, he schooled them. He had more knowledge of the magical practice. He had a better caduceus wand, or excuse me, he had a better staff that turned into a snake. Maybe the caduceus wand is just a representation of this story, or maybe it's a representation of knowledge in the magical community and how much of knowledge you have from angels of Arius. So, the caduceus wand is what we're examining today. Because I read this shit in Exodus. It's so crazy and cool. But what's neat to me is the next thing that I'm going to share with you. So I'm just tired of fishing knot here on this awesome L. I'm going to be hanging this one up for my boy Logan, who passed away in December. He was 28, good kid. But I would have given him this one if he was here. It's an L. See? It's an L. So how does a man do jewelry, right? Well, kids do make fun of me, but you tie a fisherman's knot. Boom, there you go, fisherman's knot. That's a lot of fun. Oh, I left my lighter somewhere. I'll have to find that in a minute. Okay, melt the knot. Bada boom, moving on. Okay, next thing to read. This is fun. Here we go. Okay. So, here we go. Oh, here, yeah, see, I almost went too far. And Aaron stretched out his hand. Well, actually, I can go on. And why? Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna start here. So, and Aaron stretched out his hand out over the waters of Egypt, and frogs came out and covered the land of Egypt. So, we already had some other plagues go on, and the Pharaoh's magicians are mentioned there, but I like how it's worded here a little better. So, and the magicians did so with their enchantments, and they brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt. Wait a minute. So, in the last thing here, Aaron, who is the right-hand man of Moses, schooled these magicians with his wand, and then he went ahead and said, hey, you know what, I schooled you with my wand, and now they're doing his bidding. It's kind of interesting, man. Here we go to another one. And the magicians, okay, and Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and smoke and dust, and it came forth lice in the man and in beast, and the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So they worked lice upon all of them, land and beast. But it doesn't say that the magicians ever trying to stop it from happening. They're not trying to support Pharaoh. And in other parts of this, it says the magicians are trying to convince Pharaoh, let the people go, man. Because in the very beginning, they had smaller rods. No, they had less knowledge of magic and how the angels work. It's mentioned. Okay, so there's this, yes. Okay. So the big thing that I want to take from here that's just so cool, is that in Egyptology, you have the study of UFOs as well as angels. And UFOs and angels, back in the day, just like now, they don't mind being worshipped as gods, fallen angels, and some UFOs. So, I don't know. It's pretty trippy, though, that it's all connected. And let me go show you. This is how you tie a slip knot for a necklace. It's pretty cool. I found this one on Google. Some girl is doing this real quick, and like, do this. Bada bang, bada bing, bada boom. There you go, a slip knot for a necklace. Love it. Come over here for a second. Let me show you this. So, these are some new opal necklaces I did. Very, very cool, yes? This one's kind of manly, right? It's like a Maori hook. You can see through it. And then this other one's very dope. Did have a guy heckle me a bit. Oh, that was my bong. Can't have the bong in there, I think. Maybe you can. I don't know the rules. But I want to show you this on the computer because this is what it is, what we're talking about here. I got a picture. It's crazy how cheap bud is now, though. I mean, you can buy it. It's so cheap. Trimming's tough, right? These are the caduceus wand. So this is the wand I'm talking about. A lot of you guys know this wand is like the medical wand. And why does the medical community use this wand or this symbol for their symbol? Because it's a symbol of knowledge. You have the snake representing the tree of knowledge, which is spoke about in Genesis, right? With the Adam to Eve story. You have the angel wings. It's very nice. Those represent the angels of air. Angels of air represent thought, communication, all that good stuff. I like this one the best because it shows the snakes really good and has color. So anyways, there's a whole mess of them. Like, boom, you can see them. So I think more so they were looking at caduceus wands and you're talking about magicians. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe they really turned into snakes. But regardless, the Pharaoh's magicians were doing God's bidding at that point and thereafter, helping to bring forth the plagues. Doing God's bidding, man. The Pharaoh's magicians were hooking up and doing God's bidding. That's crazy to me. That's crazy cool to me. That's just sick. Because what we're talking about now is we're not talking about the Pharaoh's magicians as being a different religion, are we? Uh-oh. No. And we're talking about them doing magic incantations to try to help out, to bring forth plagues against Pharaoh. And we're successful in some of them. So I go back to the earlier statements about magic and about angelic magic. If you do it, usually you can't do it unless you have the blessing from a higher or you're dealing with a demon, and a demon wouldn't help bring those plagues about, I don't think, because that was all, I don't know. It's interesting, right? Same thing. So in Egyptology, we'll get to it later in Exodus, I'm sure, there's a lot of trippy stories about things, and there's just a lot more shit to cover. You know, like Osiris and that story and all that. You know, a lot of people do the sign of Osiris and all that shit. Why and what it means is interesting to me, and how it correlates to a story I already read in Genesis. You have to take things and when they were written and what they're about, because they're the same story, and I'll get to that in another video. But yeah, definitely. So I wanted to mention, okay, it came up. So I wanted to research it more, but I'm going to do it in a different video. But the story of Osiris, I'll probably have to do in my next video. And I'm also going to be doing in my next video real magic. So I'm going to actually give you examples of magic or miracles that I've witnessed in my life. There are several. Just crazy fucking things. I have pictures too and such. So anyways. The last thing in here that's just really trippy is bread. Which, yeah, it sounds kind of silly, but... and in the first day, there shall be a holy convocation, and in the seventh day, there shall be to you... And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in the same day... and we're talking about Passover. Okay, so the big thing in Passover is unleavened bread. Have to eat unleavened bread. Have to eat unleavened bread. They had to eat the unleavened bread because they had just did some kind of a Passover is the killing of all of the males of Egypt, firstborn. Passover is putting blood on the outside of your doorpost. And then, I'm feeling really weird. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to say the angel of death, because the blood on the doorpost. So I believe that some sort of like chupacabra was sent into Egypt, or some sort of animal, or some sort of alien possibly was sent into Egypt to kill the the firstborn males. You remember it from the story, from the movie maybe, it's just like a mist. But how it's described in the book, you got blood on these doorposts, and they kill the lamb, they feast on the lamb, they don't eat, they make sure that they cook it a certain way, and they bless it a certain way. So, and then they can't, and then for 7 days after they're being passed over with this death curse, they have to eat unleavened bread. And so, first of all, in Exodus, and I should have like read out of here some of it, but yeah, you remember the blood on the doorpost, and all the males get killed, the firstborn. But the big thing to me is the blood on the doorpost, and then and it's fresh blood on a doorpost. So any predator, this is weird, but predators don't go after predators in the wild, and I've stood face to face, toe to toe with a 550-pound black bear, and I've stood toe to toe with a 300+ pound mountain lion, and I wasn't armed. And they ain't coming at me because I'm a predator too. They don't smell fear on me. Nah. And that's the point of the blood on the doorpost. I think it's less to do with blood and more to do with this predator thing. So also the meat and the barbecuing and the cooking of the meat a certain way, and some was left raw or something. But it's all about, you're a predator. You eating meat, you're a predator, you got blood on your doorpost. You get passed over by the other predators. You ate food. If you come up on a deer, you don't run in the wild. Because if you run if you come up on a bear, don't act like a deer and run. You don't run. If you run from a bear, they'll chase you because you're food. But if you stand toe to toe with a bear and you're like, fuck you, well, they may paw you a bit and you may die, but you got a lot more chance if you run. They're fast too. So anyways, they're killing the firstborn males, and I think it's less about a ghost killing them, and it does not mention how they were killed. I mean, if there was a bloody death, if they were beheaded, or if they were eaten, we don't know. It wasn't mentioned. But what's more important and more interesting to me is this whole thing about leavened and unleavened bread. So on Passover, you're supposed to eat unleavened bread. Unleavened bread is uncooked bread. It's bread that's like a cracker that you put out, and it's like sun-baked. It's baked in the sun. It's cooked in the sun. So my other book, Seeds in the Wind, which actually someone's reading right now, so I can't show it to you, but it has the lost teachings of Jesus. I've shown it in a lot of my other videos, and at the beginning of this video, I'll go ahead and put up a picture of it so you can see the book Seeds in the Wind, or I'll cut to it right now. In fact, I'll do this. Woo! Okay, so I'll cut to that right now, and there's that. So you just saw the picture of that, and in that book, Jesus is not just a vegetarian. He is also a vegan, and he doesn't want anything cooked. If you cook your food, it's not good. And what I've already discussed in the future videos is Jesus was like a pure human, like Adam and Eve way back here, and he had a lot of those awesome abilities, and even more so, right? So, but he didn't eat like the meat. He didn't eat like the cursed man did. He ate like the first man did. And so he was a vegan, and he didn't cook his food. So what's so interesting is God commanded that the Jewish people not eat anything but like Jesus for 7 days after they did this. For 7 days after they did this, they could not eat anything but the unleavened bread. You're going to put your bread out in the sun and cook it and bake the cracker, and that's what you eat, because that's holy bread. That's holy bread. It's not cooked by fire. So that was a big thing in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the lost teachings of Jesus, was to not cook your food and like only eat apples and oranges and shit, and bread that you make out as a cracker. He said if you eat an egg, make sure it's not fertilized, or that's naughty. Well, anyways, but you can't cook it. Well, who would want to do that? That's disgusting. Jesus' favorite food was red bell pepper. So that's awesome, right? That's so cool, but it's so interesting how it correlates to this right here, because it's just more proof that the Dead Sea Scrolls and the lost teachings of Jesus are absolutely right on, because there you go, unleavened bread. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? So I haven't trimmed this yet. Oh, I'm gonna trim this. I haven't trimmed this yet, but oh, it came off. Anyways, let me just show you the little L here, and we're gonna hang this up for Logie. This was my son. I'm gonna hang this up here for him. Oh, he got a light right on his head. Anyways, that looks cool there, right? All right, peace out to you. Next time we will be studying Osiris, and yeah.